Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Happy day. How is everybody today?
Good.
Good. I love that your background obviously is Friends. I've been watching Friends like on repeat right now. So,
Oh, yeah.
what about you guys? What shows have you guys been watching?
Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean.
Oh, I love Mr. Bean.
Wow. Are there new shows?
No, I just kind of replay it sometimes.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
so
like,
cool.
because I don't want to think. So I'm just like, okay, I need to like laugh and just calm down. And it's like all innocent and fun. So.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
It's nice to put funny things in the background.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
his face. It's like unique.
Oh, Mr. Bean's face.
Yeah.
I was like, whose
Rowan
face are you
Atkinson.
talking about?
Yeah, he's funny.
I've been watching The Chosen. I was just telling Christine.
Oh.
You too, Michelle, right?
Yeah, I just started though. How many seasons are there?
There's 3. So
Wow.
Wow,
I
everyone's been
guess,
telling me to watch it.
have
Yeah.
you tried? Have you started at all? No. Shook.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. Shook. Okay.
I'm excited. And
Yeah.
it's the same guy, the character that plays the actor that plays Jesus is the same actor in the movie Jesus Revolution.
Oh, okay. You've been talking about that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look that up. But yeah, that's
It's in the
thing.
theater.
Yeah.
Jesus Revolution.
Jesus
Cool.
Rebel.
Definitely watch that.
I want to watch it. So
yeah, I
badly.
can't wait to watch it again.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in theaters. Oh, I saw
Yeah.
the trailer for this. Interesting.
Oh, Michelle, excited to watch it. Lead away, Janice.
Okay, so
Yeah.
now that we're kind of broken into conversation, I know that a lot of us have our own separate, faith journey. Okay, so for the person who's watching right now, in one word or a couple words, like one sentence, the longest, how would you describe faith? Like the word faith, like what would you say, Christine?
How would I describe it?
In one word.
Not only one word, like one sentence max. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
One sentence. I don't know why I hear journey. Is it because you said journey too?
That's so
Yeah.
good. Yeah. I didn't say that, I don't think. But
Oh, okay. It's definitely a journey, right? Like,
yeah,
mm.
that's right. Like a life journey. Like when you live and walk by faith, it's a literal
Yeah.
journey that you're going on,
Mhm.
Like
With-
it's like it starts with a foundation of faith, no matter how small it is. I'm gonna go on. I don't know.
Go
Faith
on.
and journey and foundation.
Mhm.
I don't
So
know.
faith, foundation, journey.
Mhm.
That's so good. How about you, Michelle?
When I think of like faith, my faith, and to be more specific, I guess it's really believing in the things that you can't quite see yet. Like believing in the promises, like believing in the unseen, I guess.
Perfect. How about you, Daph?
Yeah, same. Trusting the Lord in the unknown, just
Yeah.
trusting Him in the unseen,
Mhm.
and trusting Him in the journey, like
Yeah.
where it's gonna be. How it's gonna look at the end. It just takes faith, trust.
Exactly. So journey, foundation, trusting and believing, literally what Michelle is saying, like something that we do not see. And that's what the journey is, right? We're on this path, on this journey that God has already set for us. We don't see what's on the path. We don't see what's at the end of the path. We don't see what he has in store yet, but we believe, right? So in Hebrews 11:1, Michelle, do you want to read this right here?
Yeah. Now, faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see.
So
Oh,
that's
cool.
literally what faith is.
Yeah.
Is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see, right? So when you're sure of something, what are some hopes that you guys have? Like what's one hope that you have in your life, in your future, for your family, whatever it may be? Daphne?
Yeah, I think Christine, you and I pray every week, and one of the things I shared with Christine is getting debt free. like not having owing anyone anything, and just literally. So for me, like I really get encouraged when Christine says, you're gonna, God is gonna show you, provide for you in ways that you never even thought of. Or she Christine, I always hold on to this. So I think holding on to the prayers that people pray for you, holding on to the verses that people pray for you, even asking for prayer, even praying it out, right? So I feel like one of the hoops could be like one of the things. Did you say hoops? Like things we like
Oh, a
face?
hope, a hope.
Oh, hope. Okay, our hope. One of the hopes. So our hope, and my husband and I, is to be debt free this year. And why? It's for our missions. Like we really want to be able to do missions without being burdened, right? And I feel like the Bible does say like don't borrow and stuff. Like literally, yeah. So yeah, that is one of my hopes.
Okay, that's
Do you want to know how I apply faith? Or no?
sure. Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, like applying faith is even when I don't see it yet, just believing like it will happen and God will provide for all
Mhm.
of our needs.
That's so good.
Mhm.
Thank you. Michelle, what is one hope for you? Kind of a big hope, I guess, is that I hope and pray and I know that God will fulfill this, but I am excited for my future family and for all of us to
Mhm.
just be so grounded in prayer and faith and just be like
Mhm.
just so confident in God's just like promises. Like I'm really excited to like have a partner that I can like grow that foundation in for future kids, and just like yeah, starting a new like generation within my family. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. No, that's so
Aw,
that's a
gonna happen.
yeah. That's a beautiful hope. And
Yeah.
Christine, what about you?
Yeah, like exactly what Michelle said, right? Like I hope I can have a family one day, kids one day,
Aw,
and grow in that faith and serve all of us serving God,
Yes,
Yeah.
actually His calling. Yeah, I think like whatever God called me and my husband to do, I hope that vision is there. Like hope that we're walking in it.
That's so good. Those are beautiful hopes. And so when we have faith, we're being sure of what we hope for. So be sure, like Daphne, be sure you will be debt free, not doubt, like I may or may not. I don't know about God. I don't know. He's got to say, you are sure, you are confident and sure of him. Same with you, Michelle and Christine, you are sure, like you will have that husband. Christine, God has given you that husband that you've been praying for your whole life. He's going to give you these children, a family,
So
the
cute.
generation that will
Yeah.
pray together. Everything that you dream of like a good, healthy Christian home, like, you hope for it, you are sure of it, right? And then we're certain of what we do not see. So we don't see it yet, Daphne. You don't see the zero in the debt thing yet.
Yeah.
You don't see your husband yet. You don't see your children yet, but
Mhm.
we are certain, right? So when you're certain and when you are sure of something, there's no doubt, right? It's not, okay, yeah, I'm sure. I don't know. It's not like that, right? It's like, yes, and amen. It's going to happen. I don't see it yet, but I believe it, and I'm going to believe by faith. And this is the journey that we'll be walking on, right? So that's what God wants us to be so sure of, is his word, his promise, and that's by faith. And anything that is not done by faith is a sin. Can we find that Bible verse?
Straight up. She's
Yeah.
It's a sin.
anything is a sin. Yes, that's
True.
Bible right there.
Is it the
So
without
it's Romans 14:23. Okay. So, but whoever has doubts is condemned if they eat, but their eating is not from faith. And everything that does not come from faith is sin. That doesn't mean not one thing, not okay, like I'm gonna go to, I don't know. Can you think of an example, Daph?
Like you mean like what can be done. Or like sometimes we pick and choose, right? We're like, okay, I have faith he'll provide for me financially because I legit have a job. But you literally have any but you also dream of having a spouse that loves Jesus, and you're like, but I've been single for 10 years, which I was before I got married. So but by faith, you still have to believe like God will make your path meet, right?
Right.
And hang on to his word.
And
So
if you don't do it by faith.
yeah, like you can pick. I could pick and choose, like, okay, God, financially I could kind of see it, but like I haven't even met a guy remotely close to what I want, or like I haven't even dated or something. You still need to trust God, even though you cannot see in everything, every area. So then I think even when you do get married now, for me and my husband, now it's like trusting him even in marriage, right? In every part of your life, not just like before, but it's like during, and then when you have kids, like every season, just trusting him, but not forgetting what he did for you when you were single, and then when you get married, you like throw it all away, and then your husband becomes your God, which
Yeah.
uh, and you like forget about Jesus. But no, you like bring faith like at all times, and everything is like in every season, in every area, financial, spiritual, health.
Yes, in
So
every aspect, every single thing. So even what if we decide to, so in this verse, it's deciding what to eat, right? Whoever has doubts is condemned if they eat, because their eating is not done by faith. And everything that does not come from faith is sin. So even if I'm like, okay, think of eating,
even if you're fasting, right? But
yeah,
you're just doing it because you literally want to be sexy or something.
yeah,
It
okay,
doesn't require faith, right?
yeah,
Because you literally are doing it for the wrong motives, right?
wrong reason,
But
yeah.
what takes faith is if you're fasting, but it is hard for you, and your flesh is actually dying, and you're doing it to get closer to God. It's kind of like that woman, the widow's mite. She only gave like a penny's worth. Like she had a penny, but to her the penny meant is like her whole money, right? But there was a man that was like, but I gave like $20,000. How come you honored the widow's mite more than what I gave? Because Jesus looks at the faith. It took that one, although she gave a penny, but for her that's her everything, right? But the guy who gave 20,000, the 20,000 was just 5% of his income, so he could literally afford to give it, right? But faith is literally giving Jesus your everything, right? Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes, it definitely does make sense. So every decision that we make has to come from faith. So what you're saying is, for that example, the woman that had a penny, she didn't have anything else. That's all she had. That was her everything. Although it was just a penny, to us it's just a penny, but for her it's everything. So by faith, she gave her everything, right? Not knowing if she's going to have another penny in the next year, right?
Yeah.
She's by faith giving everything that she has. Other than the rich man, he has millions of dollars. He gave $20,000, but he knows he still has millions of other dollars. He's not giving it by faith, as in
It doesn't take much faith.
it
Yeah.
doesn't require anything of him. He's not losing out on anything. It's just, that's literal pennies to him, right? So
Mm.
God is literally looking at our heart when we do something, when we eat something, when we buy something, when we reach out to someone, when we say anything. He wants us to do it by faith. Okay, God, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to eat? Who do you want me to reach out to? I'm going to believe, be sure of what we hope for, and certain of what we do not see. God, you tell me. I don't see it yet. I don't know how, I don't know what, but I'm going to do it even though I don't see it, And
Whew.
so
Yeah, that's so good. That's
yes,
good.
and so
Yeah.
so
I
everything that does not come from faith is sin. So another part of this I wanted to touch on is dreams and visions, right? So when we want to hear from God, when we have faith, right? How do we hear from him? Like, how do we walk on this journey by faith, right? How do we be sure and certain of what we don't see, right? We have to somehow have some kind of path that we need to go on this journey. How do we know where to go? And one of the ways is that God speaks to us, right? Do you guys believe that God can speak to us?
Yes.
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 Some people literally hear audibly, like a voice.
That's
Have any
crazy.
of you ever?
No.
In
No.
my head, but
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Not like a
In my
voice.
head. Yeah.
Like, but some people have, they've literally have. But those are the two ways that I want to touch on, is that when we want to walk by faith, when we want to be certain and sure and of what we hope for and what we do not see, we have to know that we're serving a God that speaks to us. He's not distant. You don't need to go through someone to talk to him. You don't need to, ask someone to hear from him or something like that, right? Like, God can speak through people, yes, but he's right here with us, right? And so dreams and visions are two of the main things, two avenues that he can really speak to us on what to do, how to walk by faith, like wisdom on what we need to do next to do and live out what we hope for, right? These hopes, these dreams, these visions that we have in our hearts, he can speak it to us through heaven, through his spirit, right? And so I just want to touch, like, very quickly, like, can you guys think of any specific instance where you heard from God or had a dream from God? And sometimes we don't know, right? We don't know at first that it's God, right? It's like you have a dream or you get a vision or something and you're like, whoa, what's that, right? And then he will reveal it to you after. Do any of you have like an example?
Well, as you're speaking, I literally see something right now.
She's like, I
But it's not like
literally
I know my eyes are like in the back of my head or something. But it's like you're speaking and I literally hear a question and I literally see a picture. So the question I hear is, because I've been asking the Lord, like I've been praying for marriages. You guys know it's been 2 months, 21 days, or 21 days per month. And the question I literally hear is Holy Spirit asking is, what does a marriage filled with faith look like? So then I literally think of me and Raf, right? Like I think of like, what would that look like if I had like major faith in my marriage? And I just saw a picture of like a person, the wife, and it's thick people, okay? And like the couple. And your heart is literally like your whole heart is like there, like hand going like this to your spouse, like I trust you and I'm gonna fight for this marriage. So that's as you're speaking about the faith, I literally feel like God is saying to me right now, and any married person, Chrissy girl, and just anyone watching, is like, what does that look like? Like, how do we apply it? Faith-filled marriage. And like I'm guilty. Like sometimes you don't need faith anymore because you're just like bored, or like not like bored, like because you're around each other all the time. Christine's like, you're so comfortable with each other. Christine, help me out here, girl. Like you're comfortable with each other. So you're like, like you're just not, I mean, there's probably people watching that are super in love and filled with faith. Share with us your stories. But like, how do you do that kind of marriage where it's like faith filled, right? You're in the middle of a fight. Faith filled. We're gonna get through this. Like I choose Christine. I choose love right now. Like
Work, right?
right,
Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead, Christine.
Yeah, like it's faith. Like you have faith that you'll get through it, but it takes work. But
It takes work.
I don't know how to explain it. You believe, right? You
Forgiveness.
believe. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
hard to just believe, but you choose to believe.
Yes. You choose to believe by faith. It's like your flesh doesn't want to, right? Like your flesh is like maybe tired to like even go on a date. Okay, like let's just be real. Like date nights are something that are like, yeah, that's they say it's good to have in a marriage. But to like how many couples do I know, and me and Raf, do we ever go on a date night every Friday of our life, right? But it's like but that one is, yeah, Christine, you go every day, right? Like I feel like you back out that relationship.
Married though. know what it's like 7
Huh?
years down the line.
What did
Well,
you
yeah,
say?
you're right. What do you mean? What are you asking? Can you say that?
What am I asking? I'm asking like when you're like, how do you apply having faith in marriage, right? Like, I guess just faith, like full out faith is all of us want to be together forever, right? So maybe like sometimes in the middle of a fight where you're stonewalling or something, God's like, forgive, right? And a faith filled marriage is like, even if my flesh doesn't want to forgive, like I just don't want to, God, but you're gonna open that door, you're gonna sit beside your husband, and you're gonna be like, we're gonna talk, and I don't want to fight. Like, I'm gonna choose to love you. I'm gonna choose to speak words of life. I'm gonna choose to see the gold, even though you never chose to see the gold just a minute or something, like sometimes you're like, why do I have to be the first? But then you're like, faith is literally being like believing Jesus's word, right? So Jesus says, humble thyself and be the first. So a marriage, anyways, I just see like a picture of a stick person just like giving like your spouse, of course, Jesus, your whole heart, but it's also like literally doing everything to fight for your marriage, right? Like, I'm gonna give you my heart, I'm gonna be vulnerable, I'm gonna let you see into me. Michelle, remember that prayer, intimacy, into, and Christine, you reminded me of this, into me see, and just like that is it. So anyways, like, so right now that's what I literally hear God
Yeah. Okay. So
asking.
touching on that, because we were talking about God speaks through dreams and visions. And I
Mhm,
said,
mhm.
can you give me an example of when you ever had a dream and you're like, I see something now, right? So how can you explain that? Like, that was literally something from God right now.
Yeah.
That was like
Oh
very
yeah.
vivid and very deep and meaningful, right? Is like,
Mhm.
you saw two people, a man and a woman, with their heart in their hands, right?
To each other, like
So
in
how
marriage.
to
Yeah.
explain to someone if they've never had a vision,
Mhm.
you're used to it, but so if you were to explain to someone who's new to faith,
Yeah.
new to God, and how, just say I'm new and I want to know how do you know, like, how do you see a vision from God? Like, how would you explain that? What just happened right now? Like, what did it? Yeah,
What
he's like,
my
look
eyes
at
didn't roll
another
back.
one.
How do I get it? Like, don't you guys just see like a picture, like a movie in your mind?
No.
No, Christine?
Hmm?
That's what I see. I just
Yeah.
see a movie, like a picture. Like maybe that's how I learn too, visually. But I also have dreams. Like this week, I dreamt of someone, and in my dream, I asked them, "How are you?" And then I just messaged this person like, "Dreamt of you," and then she said, "I dreamt of you." Asking me how I was.
Yeah.
You guys were in the same dream?
What,
Wait, what?
Christine?
You guys were in the same dream?
Apparently, because I never messaged her for so long, and then I asked her like, I had a dream about you. In my dream, I asked you, how are you? And then the girl said, I'm fine. Then in my dream, I actually asked like, no, really, how are you? And then in her dream, she dreamt of me asking her that, and then she was having like a miserable or like a hard day.
And that was literally just a couple days ago.
Whoa, that is cool.
Yeah, I'm even blown away by God.
You forgot.
No, blown away by God,
Yeah.
like that's literally, there's two short stories I want to share
Mhm.
in regards to that, dreams and visions.
Mhm.
And that's exactly what God does. There's one spirit, he can speak the same word to you
Mhm.
and that other person
Mhm.
at the exact same time, even in a dream when you're sleeping,
Even when you're not doing anything. So it's
after
literally not you, it's literally God, right?
Yeah, and after
You just
all these years of just like
trust.
knowing him and stuff,
Yeah.
it's still like very shocking.
Mhm.
Anyways, thank you so much for sharing. What about you, Michelle? Like,
Yeah,
have you had
Michelle.
an instance where you see a vision or had a dream from God?
I feel like the dreams in particular are pretty hard for me. I feel like I wake up very often and so I don't really remember. But in terms of when I do try to like hear from God and really focus, sometimes honestly, when I first started asking God or whatnot, I honestly thought I thought it was me at first. Like I didn't know that, like, okay, why am I getting this random thought? Why am I getting this random feeling or this word?
Mhm.
And so the more I was like open about it and shared about it when someone asked me, then it was like the exact same thing. So for example, like sometimes I think this happened, actually the first time it happened was during girls group. This is like many months ago, and I think it was maybe Daphne or somebody had asked, like, okay, everyone, like, just take 30 seconds, like, close your eyes, and everybody write down a word, like, write down a word. And I remember like writing it on my phone or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Christine that went first, and she said, I just see the word hope. And I freaked out because I had literally written hope on my phone. And I was like, I don't know why. Like, I don't know why this
That's
word
cool.
is coming up in my head right now, but like I know why. It's God.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
Holy Spirit, and it's the same spirit, like you're saying, like it's so that's really cool. It every time it happens, it blows my mind, and I'm just like, and I have to remember, like, it's not me. It's not me at all. Like it's literally God connecting us. So it's really like it's really nice to get that confirmation. But
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, even at that time, he's giving the same word, right? It may not be a literal vision. You didn't see a picture of hope, but you saw the word, right? He can give a specific word. He can tell us something, and we need to pay attention. And how do we pay attention? We have to have our ears and our eyes open, and we have to believe by faith. Because if we don't have faith, we just think, oh, I'm just pulling that out of my butt, or like, oh, it's because I watched Frozen yesterday, you know, or oh, it's because I ate a box of chocolates yesterday, so I'm thinking of chocolates today, you know. Like, we ourselves, if we don't believe by faith that God is speaking to us, right?
Yeah.
So Christine, is there an example you want to share, like of either a vision or a dream that you've gotten from God?
Yeah. Oh, I just want to say that's really cool, because I was like, oh, God does talk to me. He said the same word to me and Michelle. So he talks to me too.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was like, well, am I hearing from God? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I do hear from God. Probably, clearly. So it's a nice reminder. Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah.
I guess I've used this example a lot before. How I know my husband was my husband.
Oh, that's
Hear
cool.
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this year. Yeah, like I met him in 2013, and then a month later I had a dream saying you're gonna marry Zach Lau, and I was like, what?
Oh,
That's so specific.
wow.
Oh, it muted.
We're
Muted.
muted. Christine muted.
We want to hear your giggles.
Did you hear that? Did I accidentally mute? Oh,
Yeah, it's okay. You're
yeah.
back.
Yeah, and then I'm like, now it's like, oh, I'm actually married to Zach Lau now, 7 or 8 years later, and now. Oh, it's
Wow.
2023 now, right? Yeah.
Literally, it's
Whoa.
10 years to this year.
Whoa.
10
You said
years.
2013, right?
Yeah, you said
Yeah.
2013 you met him.
It's
But
2020.
then you question it, and you're just like, okay, maybe not, and then it happens, and you're like, oh, you're right, yeah. And then you just stick to like faith that God's gonna do something. Or are you saying you believed back then in that time?
And then I think like when you get married, you hang on to that. It reminds me of Benny Hinn. He dreamt of his wife, right? And then he literally said to God, if this is her, she'll cook this specific meal. And then
Oh
she did.
yeah.
And then they got married. But
Yeah, it was
then
like a pie or something. Yeah.
something like that. But then they okay, like let's be real, they got divorced,
Okay.
right? They got divorced, but God brought them back together and he reminded himself, I dreamt of her though, God. You know what I mean? Because like you have to hang on to what he gave you before. And you know what? They got married again now. It's still them. After all these years, they're like, it was always you. But the process of marriage, am I alone in this? But Chrissy, you know it could be hard. But it's like
Yeah,
we have to remember like the dreams he
Yeah.
gave us, like remember the words he gave us, like we hang on to it so we can go as we get older and go through life. We remind ourselves like, God, you gave me Ralph, like you gave Christine Zach, and hang on to it till death do us part.
Yeah, right.
So
Exactly.
Benny
And like,
Hinn and his wife are together again forever.
Hallelujah.
No,
Yeah.
no one's
forever
getting
now.
Yeah,
Forever.
forever now. Yes. Yes. Amen.
yeah. So thanks so much for sharing, like, so
Mhm.
words, dreams,
Yeah.
visions. And it's funny that everything that you guys shared, there was two people involved, right? Daphne, even your dream,
Oh,
another
yeah.
person was involved together.
yeah.
Spoke to another person. For the word hope, that was you and Christine, like
Yeah.
literally, right?
Yeah.
For the wedding, your marriage, it's you and your husband,
Yeah.
Christine, right? Like
Oh my
it's
gosh.
not just one person always involved. He involves many other people because there's one spirit.
I just
speaking.
got like good, like nice chills. Like I don't know how to
Yeah,
describe it.
like speaking to
Yeah.
all of us, right? It's unreal. And so also he also says in his word, you know, he always has a witness for us,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
When he does a miracle or something, there's always a witness around, because this is how we prove like Jesus is Lord. He is God, you know? And so there's so many instances in the Bible where God speaks through dreams, through visions, but there's two specific ones that I wanted to share. One that he spoke just a couple days ago to me was Saul's conversion. So Saul turned into Paul. His name changed to Paul, and he was a murderer of Christians. And he was on the road to Damascus. And
Yeah.
why are you laughing?
He's a murderer of Christians.
Yeah,
So
and then
casual.
and then just
Yeah,
so,
go on, girl.
so then, long story short, God put scales on his eyes, made him
Yeah.
blind, and as he was
So
blind, he heard
Yeah.
God, right? He
Mhm.
heard and saw in a vision, like with his eyes closed, because he has scales on his eyes, and he was saying that, you know, he was telling Saul, a guy named Ananias is going to come and put his hands on you and take the scales off your eyes. He gave him a specific name. He gave him a specific purpose and a specific task that this guy is going to do, right? So he told that to Saul, and then he told Ananias. This is Acts 9:11. Go to the house of Judas on Straight Street and ask for a man from Tarsus named Saul, for he is praying. In a vision, he has seen a man named Ananias. Come and place his hands on him and restore his sight. So these two verses show how specific God is, right? So this is Jesus speaking to Ananias, saying, go to this exact house, okay, and go look for this exact man with this exact name, right? And then he tells him, I already showed myself to that person. I already showed myself to Saul, you know, in a vision. So there's two people involved, and God is using them to connect, right? To unite. So he's saying, don't worry. But Ananias is like, this guy kills Christian. He's going to kill me. Like, you know, like if I don't do this right, like
I'm
he's going
hunting down the guy who's hunting me.
to, right? But he had to believe by
Yeah.
faith, right? He
Okay.
doesn't
Mhm.
see what's happening. He doesn't see what's gonna happen. This is the worst guy ever, and God is asking him to go to him,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And but at that exact time, he's also speaking to Saul. This man is coming, right?
Oh,
And so that's
yeah.
like the same thing. Like with your dream, there was two people. You guys were in the same dream, technically. You
Mhm.
know, you guys were talking about the same word. This
Mhm.
it's the same people. Like God is speaking. He can speak the exact words, the
Amen.
exact time, the
Amen.
exact place. And we just need to believe by faith, right?
Amen.
We need to listen and believe by faith.
Amen.
And another example I have is Joseph, Mary and Joseph, right? When Mary was pregnated with Jesus, an angel of the Lord showed up to Joseph, okay, in a dream. So this is Matthew 2:19. So after Herod died, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt and said, get up, take the child and his mother, and go to the land of Israel. For those who were trying to take this child's life are dead. So he got up and took the child and his mother and went to the land of Israel. So even this is like before Jesus, right? Like Jesus is like still
Tummy.
in the tummy,
Yeah.
right? But God is still speaking. God was speaking specifically through an angel, telling him where to go, right? He didn't say, oh, just go kind of to the right and keep going for 7 days. Like, you know, he said, go specifically, right? Go specifically to the land of Israel. He tells specific directions, specific instructions. And the very next verse, 21, it didn't say, oh, Joseph kind of hum and hawed and like, maybe Lord, or maybe I don't want to. No, it was Literally. So he got up, took the child and his mother, and went to the land of Israel. He did not hesitate, right? There's no hesitation. There's no, maybe, I don't know. Are you sure, God? Like, and that's what faith is, right? Is like when we hear or see, or God gives us a dream, like Daphne, you had that dream of the girl. You didn't have to message her, right? You didn't have to. You could have just gone about your days like forever and never message her, right? But by faith, you listened, like I had this dream and it was kind of uncomfortable and I'm going to reach out. And only then did you know that she had the exact same dream of you saying the exact same thing at the exact same time, right? And
I got
so
fire in my bones.
I got fired.
Oh my God, I gotta share it. So what I'm feeling is
Whoa.
like,
Okay.
what I'm trying to see is like with what you were saying, literally God can put us with people. Here I'm talking about marriage. Let's just be straight up.
Yeah.
In marriage, it's like if he could match you like Ananias with Paul, or literally Joseph to Mary. Although Mary is like the sweetest thing, but for Joseph, it was like, but Lord, he's probably wanting a virgin. Okay, let's just be real. But she was pregnant, so it took Joseph a lot of faith to trust the Lord, right? To trust the Lord that He knows who He's matching us with, whether it be Ananias and Paul. But one thing is because God sees that person's heart, right? He actually really believes like people can change, And I think I'm just being touched by God, how He sees Paul, how He sees Mary, and how He chooses like Joseph, he chooses Ananias. And sometimes we are Ananias, we are Joseph, sometimes we're Mary or Paul. But the point is how God is basically saying, have faith in what I've shown you, have faith in what the person, like again, I match it back up with marriage. I was like, have faith that I put you and Raph together, like have faith and know that I am doing something, right? And in each of those situations, even though those were not the people that most people would pick for themselves, okay? Like Ananias wouldn't pick the person that's gonna kill him to be the one that he prays for, but they still obeyed. And then Joseph, he did love Mary, but he had to believe that she was born of a like virgin birth, right? That takes a lot of faith. Like that's like against science and everything, but it's literally he believed God over anything. So what God is saying, like if He showed us something, right, in our life and did something, we have to believe that He knows what He's doing. And through Paul, the whole New Testament was written. Through Mary, the Son of God was born. So what is this person that or thing that God is putting in our path that we may not see right now, but one day the Son of God will be born. One day the New Testament will be written. Like I just hear like books are gonna come out. I just hear like families are gonna be restored. I just hear like God's like, I have gifts for you that you never even thought of, but you just gotta trust me when I tell you to do certain things, right? Like pray for Annette, pray for Paul, or marry a Mary. And also, isn't there like the book of Hosea where he married a prostitute? Yeah, that one I'm still wrapping my head around, but
Okay.
anyway.
So
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll,
By faith, he married a prostitute. But
Michelle's new, right? We'll go through it one day, Michelle, but the love of
I'm
Jesus.
just like, whoa. Okay. But yes, I do believe that. Yeah.
Like He can turn things around, but we don't understand, right?
Exactly. So by faith, we want to be able to pay attention first to His voice, that God is speaking to us. He can speak through dreams, He can speak through visions, He can speak through words, through many different means. He wants us to just believe by faith,
Yeah.
be certain of what we do not see, right? Like we don't see it. He shows us, He says it. He will tell us or something. We don't know what's at the end of the road, but we believe by faith, whatever it is that He's showing us, whatever it is that He's telling us, we believe by faith that it's going to happen, or that He's talking to that other person. We just don't know until we take that step of faith and just reach out, right? And so yeah, that's literally the gist of today, is that I encourage you all, right, all of us, to make it almost like a daily habit, how when I journal or when I pray, I ask God, like, okay, what do you want to say to me today? Like, what is it that you want to show me? Sometimes, like a lot of the times I dream a lot. So I'll write down the dream. I don't know what it means yet, but I pray, I believe by faith he will reveal it when the time comes, and sometimes it is right away, like in Daphne's case, it was literally the same day, right?
Yeah.
For Christine, it was 10 years later or 8 years later, things like that. It's like, that's just not, we cannot ignore his word. We cannot ignore his voice. He's constantly speaking to us. And so let's make it like a daily habit. Okay. Like that's our exercise for the next rest of our lives. Okay.
I've been
For the
learning about
next,
habits, Janice. That's funny.
yeah. When she
Yeah.
said that, Christine, I was like, Christine, she's
I
been
know,
thinking
because
about habits.
What
God's
happened?
been telling me about habits and how to
Oh,
like,
no way.
yeah, like
Habits.
what
Oh,
kind of habits
cool.
should I form and stuff like that lately. So it's funny that you
That's
said make
crazy.
it a
That's
daily
cool.
habit.
Ooh.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
so cool. This is for you. This
When
is
when she said that, Christine, I was thinking of you. I was gonna share it after when we talk later, but then I'll just share it now. I was literally seeing you and Zach like making and me and like in your marriage, making it a habit to be like, what's God speaking in our marriage today? Like a daily, you know, because she
Daily
literally
habit.
a daily habit of bringing up that topic. And like the dream that I had, I wasn't even going to share it with that person. But Janice, we pray every day. So she literally asked me, "What's your dream?" And I was like, I dreamt this. I was like half asleep though. But because she asked me, like that's her habit, she literally
Yeah.
she asks you in the first thing in the morning, like, "What's your dream?"
Yeah.
We
Yeah, she
talked
does.
about it. Otherwise, I literally would have forgotten. And then that triggered like, okay, I should message this person. So yeah, that's cool. That's real.
Yeah, very cool.
that's cool that God is talking to you about habits,
Yeah,
Christine.
Christine.
Like making healthy habits like that, acknowledging
Mhm.
him in our daily lives, right? And
Yeah.
like making that time, making it a habit, literally, okay, God, what do you want to say today? Or, literally just acknowledging him in our days and believing by faith that he is speaking,
That's true.
he's alive and he's
Yeah.
not dead yet, right? This is from the one from Mary and Joseph was before Jesus was born. Ananias and Paul was when Jesus was alive. So
Mhm.
even in the beginning of time, like in the Old Testament till the New Testament till now, it's the same God that we serve, and he can do the same things as he did to the prophets in the past, to the prophetic now. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
What's happening?
So, does anyone want to close us up in prayer? We can pray this out.
Christine. Chrissy.
You want to pray?
Okay.
Yay.
Yeah, I haven't been here so long.
I
Okay.
know.
Dear Heavenly Father. Are we in pray now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
hear
okay.
you.
Dear Heavenly Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this time that you've given me with these beautiful ladies. It's been so long.
Yeah.
Thank you for Janice's life that she facilitated this and led it. And thank you for Michelle's words and even Daphne's words of encouragement. God bless these beautiful ladies this week. And I pray that what we've learned today, it sticks in our hearts, and that we remember that it is impossible to please you without faith, God. And that if we're doing something without faith, it's literally a sin. So God, I pray that we just believe in your word, and the truth that is your word solely, and no matter what tries to come and say, whatever lies the enemy's trying to penetrate through us, God, I pray that it's broken and that your word just sticks and abounds and just covers that, like, just diminishes that lie, God.
Yeah.
And that we know how to fight against it with faith, and that we believe, God, that you are talking to us, to each one of us. And God, you never abandon us.
Mhm.
And I know, like, even those times of testing when our faith is being tested, I pray that it grows even stronger from that, and that we stick by you no matter what the enemy tries to tell us. And I pray in every single circumstance this week that our faith continues to grow. Thank you for Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, for everything that you've done on the cross. And we believe in the power that of the cross, God. And thank you for just being with us through the journey and holding your hand, and that we have this community of girls to rely on, to encourage, to talk to, and that we can pray for each other and just be a light to each other. And I pray that light gets extended to everybody around us this week, Father. And thank you so much for all that you've done. And yeah, and so grateful that I got to be with these beautiful ladies again. In Jesus' name, pray, amen.
Amen.
Thank you. That was so
you.
sweet.
Bye, y'all. Bye,
Okay,
everyone.
Bye.
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 Thanks for watching. See you next week.
Yeah.
But stay on, guys.